Welcome to The Good Life. Thank you for stopping by. I'm Patrick Harney. As always, I'm a proud member of the MPods Network on YouTube. But yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the notification button so you can be alerted when a new episode comes out. I got a good episode today. Talking with a friend of mine. I've known him since my senior year of high school, which was some years ago, almost 10 years ago. I'm not that old though, but 8 years ago. Oh God, I'm old. Anyway, his name is Tommy Andrades. He's a fitness model, fashion model, actor, and founder of Fit Society, which is this shirt that I'm wearing. He hooked me up, and yeah, it's a good conversation, and I'm excited to see where it's a new business endeavor that he is getting into, and so I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm excited to see it move forward for him and learn more about it in this conversation. So let's get to it. Tommy Andrades, thank you very much for being here, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So you are a model, you're an actor, and you are also the founder of Fit Society, which is newer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So tell everybody about that if you could.
So we'll start with the Fit Society. So Fit Society, I was a pro fitness model in 2010. Won some national shows, and I had an idea in my head, but it took a lot of times to put it into fruition and all that. But I've been, I got my personal training certificate and all that stuff. So I'm a certified personal trainer, and I started out personal training in 2010 when I was doing pro shows and stuff, but I really didn't enjoy it. It was just I had a different mindset then than I do now, and it just really didn't stick with me. So 10 years later, I renewed my CBT through NASM, got my PES, got my passion kind of restored, and kind of went off into my own business, developed the fitsociety.com. And with that, basically started personal training clients again, but with the goal of transforming them, and then basically getting their goals established and stuff like that. But the big concept of the Fit Society was in my head in 2010. I just didn't know how to go about it. So right now we got 3 phases going on with the Fit Society. Phase 1 is the personal training. Phase 2 is the apparel, which you're sporting for me right
Yes.
now. So I'm happy about that.
Thank you for the shirt. And also we got a beanie. There we are. And for all of you who are listening, you can't see that obviously, but you can check it out at their website, fitsociety.com. Anyhow, continue.
Yeah. So phase 2 is the apparel. So like you say, I got my logo, got some small items up for sale and stuff like that. And then phase 3 is the big concept. And basically what I'm doing is I'm putting my modeling, my acting, and my fitness all into like one umbrella to give that to the everyday person. So I can't really reveal the idea yet because nobody's doing it, but it's basically where you can go and get things that you would normally not be able to get if you go to the store or go through a normal service. So the idea is coming out. The website's almost done. Should be launching here in 2022, and that'll be phase 3. So 10-year idea in the making, about to get released. So
Nice, man.
I'm really happy.
So when do you foresee phase 3 to be up and going?
I'm hoping on my birthday, September 1st of 2022. So that's the goal. So
Okay.
And I could have released it earlier, but wasn't quite ready. And I'm a kind of a perfectionist. And I wanted to, hit with everything I wanted to be able to do and everything I wanted to be able to provide. So it's a big thing of holding it up. And I know a lot of people just release it. But I was like, no, we're not ready yet. So
Good for you. Seriously, because there's I've known many people that they have an idea or they're doing something and they go and they try to tell the world and then something falls through.
Right.
And so to be able to have the patience and the self-discipline to make sure that you have everything set the way you want it before everything gets put out, that's awesome, dude.
I appreciate that.
Now, where do you start with that sort of thing? Because and I've always been curious too of like how people, if they open up a gym or even personal training, if you're not associated with the gym, how do you get clients? Like how, so when you started Fit Society, where did you start with that?
Yeah, and that's a really good question. I just willed it. I believed in myself. I believed in what I could do, and I believe what I had done. I'm like, if I can take myself from being just a regular, basketball player into a pro fitness model, the same tools that got me there, I believe that I could transform somebody else with those same tools and the same mentality I used. Now, a lot of bumps along the way as far as like learning and figuring out what works and what doesn't. But that's what comes with being a coach. So those things you teach your clients to avoid, those things you teach your clients to to overcome, and then kind of what's expected along the process. And that really helps the everyday person that's either maybe they got a weight loss goal, or maybe they got a physique goal, or maybe they're going to enter a competition, maybe they just want to look good for a wedding, whatever it may be. I can help transform them. So I started in 2021. Like I say, restarted my personal training, and my first client was Dawn Tahaney. Uh, so I started with her. Me and her are very good friends. She's awesome. I thank her for giving me the opportunity to be my first client, and it really just dominoes from there. So now I'm training between 8 and 10 clients a week, 2 to 3 sessions on top of my normal job and stuff like that. So it's very successful right now.
Wow, that's awesome. um yeah, that's great, especially to not being associated with a gym, to already have that many clients. you know
Right.
that's, I feel like that's not normal. But for anybody who has seen your photos and has seen what you look like, you beautiful bastard, you're just like chiseled from like God came down and just sculpted you out. It's ridiculous. Gosh. um so yeah, so it would make sense that people would be like, yeah, I want to look like that guy, so help me do that. So what made you want to start Fit Society? Because I mean, you were having a lot of success, and even still now having a lot of success with your modeling, and you've been doing a lot of commercials and all this stuff. So what made you want to do this also when you already have this?
What's funny is like I've always been like a jack of all trades growing up. Always had my fingers in a little bit of different things. And like yourself, when you say modeling or acting or all that things, there's a lot that goes into it, like voiceover,
Hmm.
print, commercial work, all those things come into play. But to answer your question, to rewind, I was originally started out in college basketball, very competitive, very successful at college basketball, played D2. And then when I got done, um, I had all this passion and energy build up, but my career was over. So I was like, where do I apply this? So first I started out putting it in my career, and you just left hungry. You're still wanting to do more. And so I basically at one point I just like, I'm in shape. I'm always in shape. I know how to train. I was like, I'm a compete. So I goes, my goal is to compete on stage. And I never really, people think that's weird, but I never really thought I couldn't do it.
Mm.
There's never not one doubt in my mind that I couldn't win my first show. And people might think, oh, that's ridiculous. Just to be on the stage would be a goal. But my goal was to win it, and I ended up winning my first 4 national shows. So with that
Jesus.
being said, um, that's when I first started personal training too. But then I was younger. I didn't have the right mindset. I was training more for my goals than the client's goal.
Mm.
Being young and stuff like that. But now I'm training more for the client's goal than my goal. So that's that. But I kind of took that energy into fitness modeling, and I won that. And then people were like, handing me cards like, you should model and do all this stuff on it out of the fitness world. And it kind of just dominoed into it. And then fitness led into commercial led into print, runway, fashion, and then acting. So I got my first couple commercials. They didn't have lines or anything like that, but the competitive nature when you go into a casting, anybody that's ever went into a casting, it's not like you think. It's not like just because you're either a certain look or a certain voice or anything. You walk in a room, there's 100 of you sitting in
Mm.
that room, So it takes a lot of confidence to go in there and still be yourself, and then compete against those people. So that basketball energy kind of went, and that competing energy kind of went into those castings. So um, at that point, I was like, okay, I'm kind of hooked to this. I like walking in that room and like competing again. And it's a different type of competing, but it still is. And the other thing that's funny about it is, as you know, in the acting world, producers say what they want. They can say something positive, they can say something negative, they can say something that'll stick in your brain for like 2 months, and you really got to wipe the slate clean, and then go to your next casting where you got it or not, and be yourself again. And that's the key to that aspect of it. So
Yeah. It was interesting. I just had a conversation with my mom. She had said something about how she had read that a lot of actors are, well, really entertainers, but um or entertainers as a whole are insecure people, and they have not necessarily just full out like insecure about everything, but they have they tend to have more insecurities than most. And she asked me, she goes, why would anybody want to go into the entertainment industry if you're that insecure about things? And I said, I it made me think about it for a minute. And it kind of goes to what you were saying about how producers can say whatever they want. They can, they can be as harsh as they want. It's because of the whole risk reward factor, the risk of the rejection, which becomes so much more than the rewards. But the risk of that, and the humiliation, and the fear that everybody's going to hate you or hate what you did, is outweighed by the reward of everybody loving you and everybody loving the performance that you gave, and you inspiring somebody. And
absolutely.
and I think the competitiveness, because I mean, as you know, for those of you who don't know, I met you because you were the assistant basketball coach for my senior year in high school. And um and I think with the performing and everything, that was something that really, I think we bonded over pretty quickly. And you were always very gracious to help give me any sort of tips or lead me in a direction when I didn't know where to go. So I thank you for that. But I think the competitiveness helps with those insecurities, in the sense of, yeah, I may be insecure about XYZ, um and especially going into this casting, but because I'm so competitive, I want to outwork everybody. I may not have all of the skill or talent that this person has, but I'm going to outwork them.
absolutely, absolutely. And the thing about the acting world is like it takes talent. It's not it's not something you can walk into and read from a thing and be yourself in those moments and those scenes. It's very difficult. And then when you got a room full of people critiquing you in every possible way, it's hard. And the last thing you forget about is they got 5 cameras in your face with a spotlight on your face, and they're like, read, and then
Yeah.
act normal.
Yeah,
So
just be yourself, but also be the character.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man, I get that for sure. Um so what made you want to start an apparel line for Fit Society?
just like goals when I was a kid, when I stuff
Yeah.
I kind of, I told myself some weird goals when I was a kid. I remember at 10, I was really young, and I was like, I want to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. That was one of my goals. I wanted to be like Ivan Drago from Rocky Four.
Mm.
I wanted to be a clothes designer. I wanted to be a barber. I wanted to be all these kind of artsy things. And I didn't have any clue how to get there, be there, do those things. But it's kind of how those visions is kind of what I molded into now. I cut hair in college. I always stayed in shape. I played college basketball. And then in the last one is I always had a kind of vision for how clothes should look on people. Everybody's got, it's subjective, of course, but like
Hmm.
in the modeling world, you learn to work with all these clothes designers, fashion designers. And I was like, okay, you know what? I know what I like to, wear. I'm a t-shirt and jean guy, but I know what I like to wear. But when they put you in these castings and stuff, you got to dress the part. You got to know what they're expecting when you walk in that thing. That's part of looking the part of landing a casting. And yeah, that's kind of what led into my little apparel line. And right now it's, this is the fitness side, but eventually I'd like to break off and get into more of a modeling type, a fitted kind of clothing line. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, yeah, in terms of the whole like jeans and t-shirt kind of guy, yeah, I'm the same way. It's funny because any role that I ever get, um, I'm very similar to that mindset in the sense of like any role that I ever get, I always like to try if I can to work closely with the costume designer, whoever's the head of wardrobe and everything, because I like to help create that look for my character, because I'm somebody that I work from the outside in. If I know what my character looks like, it helps inform all the inside stuff, because to me, like how somebody carries themselves and how they choose to look and everything says a lot about who they are internally. So that's kind of my launch pad. But yeah, if I can keep things simple, I try to do it. Like clearly I'm a hat, t-shirt kind of guy. Um, but that's great, man. So
what's
was,
funny, what's funny is so all the commercials and the acting stuff I'd done, I kind of got, because they like that once you get put in a look, they can't get you out of that look either. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
mhm,
And every time I do something on set, it's always they want me in black, and they want me in a kind of like a cop, military, or Secret Service type of look. I
mhm.
cannot get out of that look for nothing. Every time they pigeonhole me for cop, Secret Service, or something like that, I was like, I can do more than that. I can do more than that. But they just keep putting me in those roles. I'm like, oh, people ask me what kind of role you get. Cop.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Well,
that's my new challenge. My new challenge is to get out of that bodyguard, Secret Service cop role and something more,
yeah.
just a little bit different.
You should do like, you should try and submit for just some small short film where you're playing like a villain
There you go. There you
or
go. Something. Yeah. Yeah.
something bad. You know what I mean? Like
Yep. Yep.
to break you out of that, because that was me. Like I was stuck playing a cop, playing a cop, playing a cop, and I'm sure I will play a cop many more times in my life. But then I was like, no, you know what? I'm gonna get out of this. So I grew my hair out. I grew a beard, and I got new headshots with that look, and I've gotten so many more like just character type auditions. It's great. So
That's awesome.
hopefully, so hopefully that stays, right. But it's funny because my cousin, who's an actor as well, Michael Harney, I mean, he's been doing it for decades and decades. He plays a cop all the time, and he has his whole career. And but he likes finding the nuances as to what makes this character tick, what makes this cop tick compared to the last one and all that. But um that yeah, that is funny though. Yeah, you are always in black. You're always wearing a black shirt.
I cannot get out of it. I don't know why or whatever. In fact, we were talking about this earlier, but I just landed another modeling gig for this next week, and the wardrobe's all black. It is all black, black shoes, black pants, black dress shirt. So I'm like, I can't get out of it. I don't know.
Yeah, but I will say though, and I know we can't say it, but for what you told me it is, I would wear that all day long. Kidding me? I mean, shoot. So yeah, I'm excited to see that one come out for you. But so with this, fit society, is it something that you want to at some point, like, do you want to open up your own gym in total and train, call it Fit Society and train people through that and all that? Or do you more so want to stay, just personal trainer doing it here and there?
So yeah, the goal is to get a commercial gym. But my ideal is not like a Planet Fitness or a Gold's Gym or anything like that. It's more like a studio gym. It's just strictly for private training.
Okay.
And that's where my current gym now, if you can see in my background when I train people, it's private. So that's the plus of training with me. You don't have people watching you. I train just you, your goals, and I'm metric training and watching what you're doing and progressive training to get you better. So right now I like private because it's just all about my client. It's not about everybody else. Long term, I'd like to get a bigger, studio with a bunch of private um, personal trainers underneath me, and we're just working on individuals. I don't like the group training thing. I think it takes away from um, specific target goals. I mean, yes, you get a good workout. Yes, you can get um, you know, be very healthy doing that. But sometimes when you just want a goal of looking a certain way, you want to be specific.
Hmm.
Sometimes you got to get down and dirty, do the exercises that you don't want people to see you doing,
Yeah.
And I think I can push people. You get more attention doing private training than you do in groups. And the other thing is corrective exercise, right? A lot of times I see groups doing group exercise, everybody's participating, everybody's giving 100%, but one person might not be doing it properly and they may end up injuring or creating a soreness that, leads to injury just because they're trying to do it and they're not doing it properly. And they got 12 people in the class and the instructor doesn't see it. So that's another benefit of doing private versus, public.
Okay. So when you start off with a new client, what is the first few things that you try to establish with them before you get into, really hitting the program hard?
Uh, I'll be honest with you. I'm unorthodox with all my approaches.
Hmm.
I listen a lot to them. I listen for, one, I listen for injuries, what they can and can't do, so, you can't push somebody if they have an injury and you can't push somebody if they have a condition, but, I listen to them. And then if I like their personality, and I won't train somebody if I don't like them. That's just how I am. I'm like that. I don't take a client. I don't need to take a client.
Yeah.
um, I have to have you have to have a bond with your client because I gotta want the goal like you want the goal. And then if you don't have that, it kind of takes away. I don't just want to push exercises to a client or anything like that. And it's proven me well. I mean, all my clients, I enjoy them as people. I enjoy their efforts and stuff like that. So once we get through, defining, where they are at physically and what they want, excuse me, how the goal, then we get or what they want of themselves. We kind of define and break down the plan that I have in place for them, the vision I have of how I'm going to train them, and what they're in for before we even step foot and pick up a weight. So, and sometimes I tell them like we got to do a lot of work on, let's example, like your hips, like because they don't have the proper movement in their hips to do certain exercises. So we got to get that up to a baseline before we can do anything complex. So.
Yeah. So where did you learn about all of that? I mean, did that come from playing college basketball?
Yeah, exactly, just pee-wee sports to high school sports to college sports, and then the other part is doing the extra outside of practice, right? Way back when in high school, I was a gym rat. I didn't leave the gym, and then when everybody left, I was still doing jumping rope, and then when everybody was still gone, I was doing plyometrics at an early age. And in fact, um, I'm so old that back in the day that I got my first ad off of I forgot some paper magazine. It was an ad in the back of the thing called Skybound. It was $6. You mailed in. There was no online web or anything like that. You just mail it in, and then 3 weeks later, my little paper plyometric workout came in the mail, and
Oh, that's
I
cool.
started doing that, and then to increase my vertical, and then that was kind of my first real form of like doing a planned training. Before it's just show up at the gym and do a practice and leave, and then whatever the coach says. But that was my first time really working on something outside myself. And then you just keep building off it, see what works and what doesn't. And then I got some real when I got to college, I got some real professional weight training and then real plyometrics and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I like this. And
Yeah.
really from that point on, I've never not lifted. I've never, and I'll be honest, I've never been out of shape. I enjoy it too much. It's part of me. It is what I do. So, and that's why people ask, like, well, it takes a lot of dedication to be in shape for that long. I'm like, it's just what I do. It's like,
Yeah.
if I'm not working out, I'm not happy. So it's just, I don't overtrain or anything like that. I just do a light workout every day, a little bit of something. Might be 20 minutes, might be 40 minutes. That might be all I do. Like skip days, but I always do at least 4 times a week. So
Yeah. Well, and you know, I've I mean, as you know, when I was in high school, I was never really in the weight room. I was 6'4", 100, and I graduated at 185 pounds. But going into my senior year, or I mean, I'm sorry, just at the end of my junior year, I was only 173 pounds. So I took that whole summer because I knew it was going to be senior year. There's a whole new coaching staff. I was like, I need to show out, and so I worked hard to try to put on some weight. I still looked like a flagpole, and but yeah, and even in college, like I'd work out a little bit, but it wasn't that much. It wasn't until after I got out of college, and really just a few years ago, did I start getting into the gym more, and I just became addicted to it. And just because, and I've put on weight, but I mean, I'm not like jacked. I'd like to get to a certain level though at some point, but it's more so the mental thing for me.
right, right.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm not working out, um, I feel like such a just like piece of shit, like it's like I'm wasting my existence, um and it's amazing how working out can really help, not only physically but mentally. And also I wanted to make sure that I prepare my body for, because I put my body through a lot with sports growing up.
Yeah.
And so now I almost feel like I'm trying to play catch up in making sure that I'm not, in a wheelchair when I'm older, you know. Because I mean, I've already had one surgery on my knee, and
Yeah, that's not fun.
no, and that surgery like pissed me off. Honestly, I think that was what really made me try to get in the gym more, because I was still playing basketball with friends, just like pickup ball,
Right, right.
thinking that my body could hold up how it did without having to work out like I did in high school, really. And that was not the case, you know.
No, no.
So but I remember senior year, I remember there'd be practices where, and you were, let's see, what, in 2013, 2014, you were how old at that point?
34 or 5. Yeah,
34, yeah.
34.
And you
Yeah.
were still getting up, just like flushing it, dunking. And you're like you're shooting. You guys would have a half court contest, and Coach Smith, he's throwing them up there. Cool Breeze is trying to throw them up there, and then you're just shooting like a free throw from half court. And I was like, man, that's a grown ass man right there. And so it is. I mean, it's amazing how, that making sure that you keep your body prepared for whatever, but keep it in good form, how it helps you,
Yeah, absolutely.
so for you, how much of it is diet?
People laugh because I really my eating habits aren't the best. So, but but the thing about it is I always keep it in range, right? So, um being a model, and then acting goals as well. That's the main goal. Like you, I have a lot of acting goals. You have to look a certain way. Every time you go to a casting, I can't look different.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I know how to maintain in a range where, if I walked into the casting thing, they're not going to go, "Oh, you don't even look like the same person."
Yeah.
I'm always, between, 8 and 10%, I stay there. But the thing about it is, I know how to do it.
That I'm sorry, that's 8 to 10% body fat, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
That's disgustingly amazing. Wow.
Yeah. And the thing about it is like, I've done it for so long. The way I eat's on auto, pilot.
Mm.
Like, my breakfast routine is like pretty much spot on, like the same thing all the time. I'm a creature of habit. So when I want to go out and have something, I have something. I'm not one of those people that stress and like, oh, I can't eat today or something like that. Now, with that being said, now I have this booking on Tuesday. I'm a little bit more strict. I'm not going to go out and like, do all that stuff. But you know, I have a lot of habits that I do. So that's probably I do the 80-20 rule. So 80% of it's routine, 20% splurge.
Mm,
So
yeah, that's good. I'm definitely somebody that needs to, you know, like for me, I track my food um to try and get to a certain goal, because if I don't, I won't eat enough.
yeah,
That's my biggest thing, is I don't eat enough, you know. And so I have to try and force myself to, because I work out hard, but I burn a lot of calories, man. I
you're
burn a
so
lot of
young.
fuel. Yeah,
You're
yeah,
so
I am,
young.
but still, I want to make sure that I'm because like you, I want to build those habits, or I want to build it so it becomes habit, so it's routine, you know. But man, do I love a good like stuffed crust meat lovers pizza.
Yeah, you got to have that. I think if you stress about not eating it, it's gonna be worse for you. So, but
Yeah,
the easiest thing to do is just plan for stuff, right? The holidays you're gonna pick out, so you're gonna those days just you can't mentally lock yourself in it. Oh, I'm gonna pass up on cheesecake. No, eat the cheesecake. Just plan for it. Like earlier, 2 weeks earlier, like be a little tougher on yourself. So when that comes, you're not blowing yourself out of your goals, and then you're all mad 3 days later.
that's
So you
true.
plan for it. So.
That's a good point.
But yeah,
Now you,
routine and splurge. Then you don't go wrong.
yeah. Now you have three kids:
Three
Ty,
kids. Yep.
Maya, Corey.
Time mine, Corey. Yep, that's right.
Am I correct in hearing that a few of your, or a couple of them at least, are starting to follow in your footsteps?
Um, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you're talking about Ty and Corey doing some modeling,
Yeah.
yep. They both got published, their first publishing this last year, and a couple of the agents that represent me want to meet them and stuff like that and get them on board. So yeah, definitely. So
Sheesh. And then Maya is just a volleyball star.
Maya, yep, she does her own thing over there. She's not interested in doing that stuff. She's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
So that's fine. So
What's crazy to me is how, like, I remember when they were little, like little. And I remember Maya came up to me one game, or it was after the game. Um, and I remember she came up to me and said, just so you know, I made a bet. I think it was with Ty. She said, Ty and I made a bet. And I bet it was like $1 for every 3-pointer over like two that I would make. They made a bet that Ty said I would make under 2 threes that game, and she said that I would
what
make,
tie?
and 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 she said that I would make over two, and for every 3-pointer over two, she got $1. And I think I made like five that game. And she was like, "You just made me $3. Thank you so much." And then she gave me a high five and ran off.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah, it's crazy to see. It's crazy to see them all grown up now, and it makes me feel old. So I can only imagine how it makes you feel. Yikes.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Pat.
No, I'm just kidding. Um, so so yeah. So what is next? I mean, because I know you mentioned you have a full-time uh job as well as acting and modeling and obviously Fit Society. So what's next for you? What's your next endeavor that you're trying to, or your next challenge that you're trying to accomplish?
Well, like I say, I'm always going to do the modeling, acting. That's just what I do the rest of my life. Doesn't matter what age you are, you can always do those things, and
Mm-hmm.
you just change your genre as you get older and your style. But continue my acting lessons, continue going to casting and stuff like that. So that's always a part. The Fit Society is just continue growing that, grow the brand a little bit bigger, grow the clientele. Like I say, the apparel line, and then as I talked about before, phase three. So if phase three is a success and it does what I think it can do, and I got big goals for it, but you know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I can be dynamic with it, and make sure it does what I want it to do. That's the big concept. So that's my next big goal, is the Fit Society Phase 3. But so that's it. Other than that, take care of the kids, and then like I say, continue my personal training and keep up on that. Like I say, I'm NASM CPT PES CES, which is corrective exercise specialist, performance specialist too, and a certified personal trainer. So um, keep up on that stuff. Keep learning stuff there, because there's always something to learn new in fitness, or different ways of doing stuff. So or new exercises. So continue on that. But other than that, just like really watch the kids, and support them in their goals. And that's it. That's it. So
That's awesome. So where can people find you and book, if or at least, get a consult if they want to start personal training?
no, you can just look me up on Facebook and DM me. It's pretty simple.
Cool.
You can call me on my cell. So fitsociety.com right now is just the apparel part, because the main part of the website's still in process, so it's under construction, but you can still do the shop there. But yeah, basically Instagram or Facebook, that's me on there. I don't have a hired out to do my work for me, so you can contact me on there for personal training and get you started there. So
Nice. Well, good. Well, hey, before we get going, I always do a little segment called the goods. It's just a few rapid fire questions.
I did not prepare for this, so what are we gonna do here?
That's exactly why I do this, right? Because I want to catch people off guard so I can get a true, honest answer. So yeah, let's get into it.
All right, sounds good.
What is your favorite exercise to do out of all the exercises you could do? Your favorite one, your go-to?
Crucifix pull-up.
A crucifix pull-up.
Yep.
What is
it? A wide pull-up.
Oh, okay.
Grip pull-up. Yep. Traditional, not CrossFit.
Yeah. I don't like the whole the CrossFit, like you swing yourself up and you're doing all this crazy stuff. No, it's much more impressive to me if you can just come here and just boom, lift up, and there you are. Pull-ups is something that has always been such a mountain for me.
You got long arms, that's why. Longer arms, the more brutal it is, I tell you.
But I swear, I got to the point where, over the summer, I was doing 5 sets of 10 consecutively.
Oh, wow.
Feeling good about it. And I was changing grips up and everything. And then I could go a week without doing it. I come back to it and I can barely get 7. It just disappears so quickly. I hate it, but yeah, pull-ups are good. If you could play any pro sport for any pro team, what would it be and who would it be?
Basketball for the Lakers. Easy. Always wanted to be a Laker. So.
Okay. Well, so what era Lakers?
Yeah, I'm the early 90s. So kind of the end of the Pistons regime into the Bulls regime. But yeah, I wanted to go against Jordan.
Dude, I couldn't even imagine what that
guy can dream, but I say I want to go against him, but probably not.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe one day you'll be able to meet him and be like, hey, you trying to play one-on-one? Because he's competitive. I'm sure he'd do it.
I'll wait about 30 more years.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll be in a wheelchair by then, and then I can challenge him.
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, how do you keep yourself grounded and centered in your life?
Grounded, just goals. I'm a goal-oriented person. Everybody gets off the track all the time. There's nobody that doesn't. It's just, setting your goals and your vision. I do a vision board, so that's important to me. I actually look at that every day. And then, every once in a while, you got to check to see that vision's still true to yourself. And I did it this last week. I'm like, why am I working on this? That's not one of my goals. I was off in the weeds, trying to, straighten up something in the closet. I'm like, this is not part of the plan. So what this means nothing. So making sure you recheck yourself, make sure you're aligned with those goals. That's how I do it. So
nice. All right. Well, Thank you very much for being here, man.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, and when you start getting into phase 3 and you get into that launch and everything, I'd love to sit down and talk more about it, because it sounds really interesting from just from the little bits that you've disclosed. Yeah, I think that'd be cool to check out, and and if there's any way that I can help at all, please let me know.
All right, awesome. I appreciate it. Definitely will. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
All right, take care.
All right, that's it. That's all we got. That's all she wrote. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Tommy for being here. And yeah, if you like this show, let me know it. Put it in the comments. Shoot me a message on social media. I'll always answer for the most part. Unless you're like cussing at me or something, that I probably won't, because that's not cool. That's not nice. Doesn't make me feel good. But that doesn't happen, and it hasn't happened. So who knows? Yeah, so that's it. I'm super stoked for the next few episodes that are coming out. So yeah, thank you.